do a few of my favorite patterns for the old midges. The first one we're gonna do is easy. There's a UTC product called vinyl rib. It's similar to the vinyl rib lies flatter. There's round, like Crystal Tech, but the vinyl rib lies flat, so it's a good one. So we like that. Let's go ahead and get our hook. We'll do some small stuff here. And this is a size 20. You don't need a curved hook. You could do this on a straight shank hook. But if you look at the eye of this curved hook, the eye is coming out straight, and I was always taught to tie your midge patterns on a straight eye hook rather than a down eye hook, so the eye is coming straight across. And then you could undersize the fly. If you wanted a smaller pattern, you could like stop it here, and then essentially you're getting like a 22, or you could oversize it and get like an 18, but this is a 20. I'm not a great small fly fisher, so I generally don't fish anything smaller than a 20. But I know the real tactical fellows and ladies out there that fish the small stuff well. I'm not that guy. Fishing smaller flies, you have to make a lot more casts. Drift, same drift, same drift, same drift, same drift. I usually get a little bit bored. I'm in the mindset if they're not going to take it now, they're probably not going to take it ever. But that's the wrong mindset to have when you're fishing the smaller stuff. Same drift, tweak, 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 better drift, better drift. You have to put in the time. So maybe that's something I can work on. I'm going to use a dark brown thread. Color for the midges I think is important. And then the body shape. I'm not in a position to critique people, but most of the zebra midge patterns I'm seeing online are not, they have so much buildup, and that wire, the wire used is an inappropriate size, and it's just not, maybe they work, I don't know, but from what I've been taught, it's generally not the way to go when you're tying a midge. I'm gonna tie this in closer to the front here, and I'm gonna be very cognizant of thread buildup. So I'm gonna tie this in, pull it back about there, and then I'm pulling, stretching that vinyl rib, and I'm tying right on top of the hook. Stretch it, and the vinyl rib I'm using is an olive color. It's opaque, so the brown and the olive combined create a very natural body color, which is good. And you wrap that vinyl rib. You could leave some gaps. Doesn't have to be super tight. But as I'm wrapping, I'm pulling, stretching it. and about to there. Lock it in carefully, and then stretch it again to trim it out. One feature I like for my midges is a prominent black head. You could do with thread, you could do it, or you could do it with the dubbing. We're gonna do it with thread today because we'll finish the fly off with a little bit of varnish on the head, not the body, just the head. And that's, the thread is built up, it's thicker, it's more than the body. There's no flash, just looks like a little stick. And we'll do one more. And now this is just nail polish, a clear nail polish, cheap stuff. And we'll finish the fly with a drop of this nail polish. Get enough so it starts to bead on the tip of that toothpick. And then I'm gonna just tap the front. And that will soak in. Maybe tap the bottom. But even if it dries hard like that, just on the top, that's enough for me. Where does that show up? Yeah. And that is my basic midge. Let it dry. When it dries, I'll show you again. Let's do a little bit fancier midge. Not fancier, gaudy. I think basic is best. Yeah, I think basic is best. Well, no, not best, but I have the most confidence in a pattern that's simple like that, rather than anything with wire or rib or flash or stuff like that. Basic. The next one I'm gonna do is a peacock herl, stripped peacock quill, which is a really nice. This is a dyed peacock quill. I think it's dyed blue or purple. And so the quill is also a little bit different color. I'm moving the fibers down toward the stem. I'm not using my nail yet. I'm just using the thumb and the index, moving it down. Once it starts to loosen, I'll start using my fingernail to remove the fibers from the quill. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean. I've always done it in one direction, not like back and forth, back and forth. This one, usually they go faster than this. This one is taking a while. Maybe because it's dyed. Stripping the quill. You can buy your peacock quills pre-stripped. I'm pretty sure they sell and they have a synthetic quill material as well that looks nice. Yeah, that's pretty clean. There is a taper to the quill. The butt of the quill is thicker than the stem. So ideally, but the stem is stronger than the tip. But ideally you're tying in the stem and then wrapping toward the tip to get that segmentation. And has a little bit of purple on it, which is kind of cool. The old purple midge. I'm gonna pull this up real fast, then we'll start tying. Ooh, thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Let's go ahead. We'll stick with the dark brown thread. And then we will wrap the body. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a couple wraps toward the middle just to get a slight taper, not much. Slight. And then we'll trim off the tag. We'll get our quill. Let's cut out the stripped part. We'll position the quill about there. And then we'll wrappy-dappy about there. You could do a thin layer of super glue to help reinforce the quill, or you could coat the quill in a clear coat, UV resin, or the nail polish, or super glue to create a little shell. The super glue, the coating is more popular in the lake patterns, chironomid patterns. This one is so small that it might be better to not add material to the outside, but rather reinforce the inside. So that's what we'll do. Put a little bit of glue on the pick. And then we'll apply to the thread. And then we'll quickly wrap. Oh, that is too much buildup. Remove that. And we'll wrap our quill. The quill is giving us some slight segmentation, which is nice. And we'll stop it there. My wrap wasn't very clean. And it's got a little purple. Not that it matters. And again, a black, prominent black head. So I'm going to use some superfine synthetic, just tease out just a bit, and then we'll do an ever so slight rope, ever so slight. That might be too much. Owen tells me to read the comments. Yeah, I'm not that good at multitasking. So if I'm focusing on this, it's hard for me to read. That's a little bit too much. But in essence, that's what we want. Midge number 2. Take it out. We'll put it next to midge number 1. And those are our 2 midges. The quill body's a little bit darker. Yeah, my first grab would be the vinyl rib. Maybe the quill body would be better for a smaller, if I was doing like a 22, go with the quill. But on the 20, it looks a little bit goofy. Little quill body. Let's do something jiggy. This is a 2.2 mil bead, quite small. And then we'll do it on we'll do that on I'm looking for smaller jigs. I can't. This is an 18. It's pretty big. This might be a 16 actually. We'll just run with it. So put the 2 mil on the 16. And we'll do something thread body-ish. So this is a UTC Kevlar thread, but the color is right. And so I'm gonna tie in a section of this thread. The idea is two-tone, kind of multi-color. And I think the person who originally tied this pattern, his name is Dylan Gonzalez, I believe. Maybe not. So I gotta think how I'm gonna do this. A little taper is necessary. So let's build up here. And then we'll slim it down toward the end. Let's build up a little bit more. And we'll wrap the Kevlar. Oh no, I need to. Yeah. But oh boy. Unwrap the Kevlar. I'm gonna position the thread here. Let's get one wrap behind and then one wrap in front. Yeah. So we have a cream colored body. We gotta tie this off somehow. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the thread and just wrap it. That's not in the manual. That was not clean either. That could cause some problems. This is also not in the manual. So I have an old bodkin. And I'm gonna heat it up. I can't get a clean cut on the thread, so I'm gonna heat up my bodkin and I'm gonna try to singe it out. Well, I didn't heat up enough. I think one more. I'm running out of lighter fluid on the old lighter. Heat up the bodkin. And then no, it's just melting it rather than singeing it. I think it was better than before. I'm going to use the brown thread to rib the cream thread. And then we'll tie off there. We're not done. Oh God. That's terrible. That's not what we want. We're stuck. That thread buildup is not what we want on the head. So we did a floss the cream body. We ribbed with the brown thread, and then if you touch with a marker, you can get like a two-tone. We'll do it this way. You can get a two-tone pattern. Yeah, so the underside is still the cream, the top is dark. It's like brown would have been cooler, but the black was all we had. You'd let that dry and then give it a little clear coat. Ignore the mess on the head. And more of a taper would have been better as well. Okay. Do we even add the... Yeah, why not? If we ruin it, who cares? Let's go ahead and add the nail polish. I'm going to add it quite liberally. And then we will kind of work it around. I didn't wait long enough for the ink to dry on the marker, so now it's bleeding. There's so many different resins now on the market, but I still like nail polish. Not my finest work. Certainly not my finest. Thanks, Joe. Bombo Clat Fishing says hello. What's up, Bombo Clat? Let's get this one out of here. We're gonna have to work on that. And put that with our other guys. Let that dry. Kind of over these midges right now. let's do I need some smaller caddis. These are 16s. These will be good. Do a few small caddis. Where I am, the caddis are dark. They look black to me, but maybe they're not 100% black. But we're gonna do dark, something dark here. Yeah. So we'll blend a little bit of the gray with a little bit of the black to get a little bit darker body, like a slate gray body. That's good. Oh, you think about getting a fly rod for coho salmon? Well, I don't know anything about that. I've never been to Alaska. I think there might be, so if sometimes I subsistence fish and I'm not using a fly rod. If I were salmon fishing in Alaska, I imagine I'd want to eat those salmon. And fly fishing is not the most effective way to catch them. So maybe I would skip the fly rod for coho salmon. But I bet it is fun. I bet it's fun. I like the slow pitch jig in the ocean. I think that's good. But I don't know how people catch a salmon. Yeah, that body color is nice. It's got a slate gray. Let's get a good wing. This is a nice color. It's called Betis from Nature Spirit. This is a darker olive, which I think is nice. But I think this is the best one for us. Slate gray. This is way too much feather for this fly. Normally I would like to tie the tip in, but I think that'd be a waste. This is tricky. We'll clip it. So we'll do the wing without the stem. We'll clip it. Let's make sure it's in there. Yeah. And then we'll trim it. And then we'll transfer it to another clip. And then we'll bunch it. I'm going to slide my bodkin down that clip to bunch that material to one side. Once it's bunched, I'm going to grab it with my fingers. And reposition. Then we'll tie that in, that bunch. Let's clean up those butts. What the heck? Where did that come from? And we'll just tie that in. Trimming out the wing. I don't like it like a uniform cut, so I'm gonna just stagger it. I'll probably end up trimming it more, but like a straight cut across. I don't really like the look of that. Okay. It's a little long, but it'll do. We need a hackle. I generally don't do the same color for the hackle. That'll look dumb. My go-to leg color would be a natural. I'm gonna pull these browns because I think a brown one would be good. So here's the natural. Let's see what that looks like. A little bit light. I'm gonna go with the dark. Clip and trim. You could do the same color as the wing, that's not a problem. It's just my preference. Let's split our thread. Oh, you're using an egg setup? You're on a nice low current. That sounds peaceful. Split the thread. Are the salmon running now? Oh, spring, there's a spring run and a fall run, maybe. Insert the material, we're losing some, that's okay. That was not great. I'll spin it up. And preen a little bit. The CDC techniques I use are from, oh, I don't know his first name, but his last name is Pettyjean, but I can't remember his first name. We're gonna wrap this. For a mayfly, you'd wrap behind. For a caddis, I'm just gonna wrap in front, but I'm not gonna try to wrap that wing down. I'm gonna get close to the wing. I'm not gonna try to smush it all the way down. And then every time I wrap, I'm gonna preen back. Oh, we're crowding the eye. It's mainly that this butts of the CDC. Let it unravel. Trim it out. A couple longies is a good thing. And then we'll wrap it up. Oops, snap my thread. There's one whip, but I actually need this fly, so I'm gonna put a drop of super glue on the bottom. I'm gonna clear the eye with the bodkin. That should be good for a day. Yeah. Little black caddis pattern could be a winner. All right. Let's do one more of the slate gray. And then maybe a brownie. Like a Crayola brown caddis, I don't have a lot of faith, so we're gonna have to break up the brown. Maybe just use brown hackle and natural wing. A little bit of black, a little bit of gray. There's a piece of ice stub in there. We don't want that. Actually, that might be good. Tease it together. Dubbing rope. A little bit more. Tighten the rope. we had, yeah, here's the wing feather we did, so we'll use the other side for the this wing clip. This clip has some glue. Trim. Transfer. Oh, no, whoa. We lost a lot. Oh my god. What are we doing? Transfer, gather. Collect. Enough. We have enough. Whew. We have enough. Clean up the tie-in point. Let's try not to cover the eye of the hook this time. Trim out the wing. Leg material. Clip and trim. Split the thread. King salmon in May, cohos in August. Delicious. Delicious. And split. Insert. Close. Let's try, don't mess with it. Spin. Spin. Preen the feathers. Give her a wrap. Wrap slow. Okay. Let the thread unravel. Pick out anything that's trapped. Clean up the legs. And that'll work. I think we have time for one more. I think the thread snapped on the last whip because we didn't let it unravel enough. So the thread was very weak. Give her a trim. There's a stray. The only part that matters on a fly is the profile the underside. So if I'm checking something, that's what I'm checking. Oh, for dry fly, that is. Yeah. I want it to have a good imprint in the water, on the surface of the water. Okay. So I did a couple of dries, did a couple of midges. Is there... I'm trying to think if there's anything I need. I'm gonna be away for a while. I'll be fishing a couple days, so I won't be able to tie. So is there anything I need? We were gonna do the brown, but I kind of think that I think I have enough. Last time we did some cripples. Mayflies. Jig streamers. A few hairs there. Let's do a big dry. Let's do a big dry. Not a big dry, but bigger than we have been tying. Just on a straight down eye dry fly hook. We'll do something a little bit bigger. Attractor. Wolf. I don't fish them a lot. I haven't tied one of these in a while, but we'll do a nice humpy. This is going to be fun. All right. So I'm going to use some moose body for the tail. The reason I'm tying this is because I might be fishing with a friend from college, and he does not fly fish. And so a attractor pattern like a Humpy or Royal Wolf, Royal Stimulator, they're very forgiving fishing wise. You don't need great drifts. And then sometimes you just get lucky. And I think for him to have fun, he needs a pattern he can see. And that floats well, forgiving to fish, and a Humpy is the perfect pattern for that. Okay, so I manually even the tips. I'm going to start tying in the tips, the tail from the rear. I want the material on top. I'm checking the length of the tail. The length is okay, a little bit long, but fine. And then I'm gonna slowly work my way down to the tail, and a little bit of flare on the tail is nice. So the last few wraps, I'm gonna tighten the thread tension so the tail flares a little bit, which is good. You could use this same body, but I want more, so I'm gonna clip this out. Same hair for the hump, but I want more. And so I'm gonna tie in more. A little bit wasteful. Clean it up. Really get that under fur out. And then I want this, the thicker, I want my hump to be the thicker part of the hair, not the thinner part of the hair. So I'm going to just cut off the tips before I tie it in. Even more. And I'm going to tie it in the same method, loose wraps to tighter wraps, so that hair doesn't spin. And it'd be nice to get it real close to the tail. I think that's about as good as we can do. Okay. The body floss is primarily but you could do like a mylar, some flash. We'll keep it PG. We'll just do some floss. Yellow is the traditional, but here's some gold floss. So we'll use that. It'll be kind of yellowy. And then I'm going to double up the floss just to get better coverage. Not necessary. Tie it in. All the way back. And then wrap it as tight as I can. The floss is not good for, it absorbs a lot of water. There's probably a better material you can use. Function is a little bit lame. Okay. Before I fold over the hump, I'm going to tie in the wing. Calf tail, some hair, wing would be the traditional way. But this one is for a beginner, so I want the wing very visible. And I'm going to use polypropylene, but I needed the right color. searching. I had a gray, but I guess I would just use the white. No, yeah. Ideally, I would like a darker color. Take out this much. We'll double it. This is way more than I need. Double it on itself. And then we'll pick it out. This is not how you tie a humpy. This is how I'm tying this humpy. Then we will tie it, the wing, I'm just gonna tie it up top, one, too tight. Then I'm gonna rotate it so it's like a T. Then I'm gonna come back around, too tight. And then I'm coming up. 2 in the front, 3 in the front, I guess. Oh, that's a lot of wing. That is a lot of wing. A few in the back. That is a lot of wing. Might have done too much. You could tie in the hackle now too, but I'm getting impatient, so I'm going to fold over the hump. Tighten it down. Not the cleanest fold. Tighten it down. And then carefully start knocking those out. Maybe doing the fold and then adding the wings is better. Actually, I learned to tie flies looking at a book, and in the book, the person always tied the wings in first. So, okay, that's a lot of wing. Hackle will do 1 grizz, 1 brown. Here's our brown. Let's get a grizz. A little bit longer grizz. This one looks good. Clean out the butts. Tie-in point. and tie it kind of cockeyed to the side. And then they'll tie in the brown. Also to the side. Advance the thread. Do you wrap both hackles at the same time, or one hackle and then the other? If you tie in well, wrapping both at the same time is easiest. Let's get another wrap, and that's 2 wraps behind. Two wraps in front. One more for good measure. Oh, this fly is already overdressed. Take out the hackles. Little thread head. There's a few strays toward the head. I'm not gonna worry about it. Give her a whippy. We just trapped another piece of hackle. What the heck? Now we have to worry about it. Another whippy. Let's clean up the head. And now manage this goofy wing. Straight cuts. That's too much wing. Straight cuts, angle cuts. We'll just do straight cut. Slightly longer than the hackle. Oh no, my wings are not the same length. Maybe I could have cut them at the same time. Would be nice if those wings had a little peak. But whatever. All right, so I don't know if you can see that very well, but the underside, that's all we care about. Can the fish see the wing? I don't know, but the fishermen certainly will be able to, because that is a very prominent wing. But again, beginner, if you're taking someone out, it really is nice to have a fly that they can see, forgiving fly. And this is a very forgiving fly. So, do we tie more of these? I don't know. Not today. All right, let's let's do overview of our today's work. Today's work includes one second, flip it. Today's work includes we started with the what is the vinyl rib, this material. So darker brown thread, olive vinyl rib over it gives you a nice nice color midge. And then this is a purple peacock stripped quill. The purple is coming out a little bit. And this is a thread midge. But what makes that one unique is that it is two-tone. The underside is dark, the backside is light, two-toned. And then we got our CDC caddis, darker caddis. The body is slate gray, black and gray blend. The wing is bunched CDC, not the feather tied in. We clipped it from the feather, we bunched it, and we tied it in as a bunch. And then we finished with our Humpy. Yes. All right. I gotta go, but I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm sorry I don't do a better job on the comments. Come Twos says hi. I cannot read that name, but hello back. Yeah, I think we'll be tying tomorrow, so we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.